Hello everyone, it's Martin Jansen with Jansen PC Info. This was my third video. On this situation, we're going to be looking at software. Uh, One of the things I mentioned in the first video was there was no games installed. You'll notice that you'll have accessories, graphics, and then internet. And they're in alphabetical order, so after graphics, in between graphics and internet, there's no games to be had initially. However, it's very easy to install software in Linux Mint 19.3. So let's take a look at the easiest way first. Let's say we wanted to install a game. One of the first things we can do is type in SOFT, and lo and behold, we have a software manager. When it first opens up, it takes a little while to generate. And then we have a listing of different types of software that we can install. There's some top picks over here that you can pick, but there's also a category called games. Let's say we wanted to install a game on the system like Frozen Bubble. It's had fairly good reviews. Let's open that on up. You can see your reviews down here. It's mixed reviews, especially one that says it's cheating. Okay, let's click on the install button right here. And then what it will do is it will actually ask for additional software to be installed. So you can click on continue here. Once again, you'll be prompted for the administrative password. In this case, it's Optiplex 390. Again, Jansen PC Info sets up computers based upon computer names. And so Optiplex 390 happens to be this computer. Its short name is Opti 390. Oops. Wrong password. You run across that occasionally. Just be careful when you type it in. Now it's busy installing the software. You can see that there's a progress bar right up here. Not really taking too long. Waiting patiently. Once it's done, you'll notice that you'll have this launch and remove buttons. So you can click on launch from here. Plays music by default. Pick your levels and everything else. High scores. Just a fun basic game. Gives you an example of how it works. All right. It's fun. Okay. So that's Frozen Bubble, how it's installed. Another way to install software is actually from the command line. There's one piece of software I always like to install in softwares. I'm a good old-fashioned solitaire nut, so I like to install Isle Riot, they call it. I'll type it in. It's sudo for super user do in apt from the repositories install, and then I'll Riot. Now, believe it or not, this is going to install very quickly once we type in the Optiplex 390. Okay, so we installed 2 games already. Let's take a look over here. Now we have a selection called Game. You'll notice that the newly installed programs are highlighted now. Here's I'll Riot. I like I'll Riot. I like the graphics on I'll Riot, but it doesn't have autocomplete, so it's kind of a bummer in that way. But that's Klondike, but you have many more games. You can select a game, and you can see that you have a full selection of different games. Tons of different games. I don't know how to play half of them, so just cancel there and X on out. The other one that we installed was that Frozen Bubble. Let's open that up again. And if you have your sound card on, it makes sounds right away. So that's how you install a couple of different games on the system. Again, the easiest way for beginners is to go through the software manager, and then it'll give you a complete selection of applications that you can choose. It's not that Linux Mint installs with no software whatsoever. You have a complete Office suite, for instance. Your Firefox is your browser. There's one thing else I'd like to show you. I'm going to go and open up Firefox. And then we're going to just clear that out and type in Chrome. And here we have Google Chrome that you can download today. This is a third way to install software. You download Chrome, accept and install, and then this is called a package manager. It's the GDebi package installer. So we can click on OK for that. And it says that all dependencies are satisfied, so you can install the package. Dependencies used to be quite a pain in Linux in general. Again, you have to type in, start again. Again, you have to type in the root password. It's resolving the dependencies and it's installing Google Chrome stable. And then when this screen finishes on up, you're going to notice something here that says same version is already installed. That's your indication that it is installed. You have the you could be a constant loop here. You could reinstall the package over and over again, but you know that it's installed on the system at this point. And where do you find that? Again, you're going to find it under Internet over here. And right away, Google Chrome offers to become the default browser, and this does work. It does become the default browsers, and you can also send usage statistics and crash reports to Google. Of course, I like to be a little bit more private with my data, so I would click OK at this point. Once you click on Get Started here, you can click on Skip if you have installed Chrome in the past. You can pick a background. Click on continue. And then you're prompted for your email, which should probably be your Google account from there, and you'll type in your password. If you have two-factor authentication in place, then it will prompt you to get your data from your phone to enter that number, and then you're all set up with Google Chrome. It's very similar to Windows, except for this browser is not built into Windows as Windows has done in the past. So that concludes installing software on Linux Mint 19.3. This is Martin Jansen with Jansen PC Info signing off.